why, gee, why, why? And then for Turmoil and Mayhem, they learnt their lesson, but now they've gone backwards for some fucking reason. So hopefully if I enough, then maybe they'll change their mind again. But anyway, I'm Whiny Cat. Have a good day. He never likes anything. He only ever complains. If he hates it. But yeah, good news, boys. Reddit and streamers and people have been vocal, and Geeky have been like, yeah, fair enough, actually, that makes sense. So, very good news. They are changing the way the reward structure works to something which we can be really excited about. So, they've actually changed it in an even more positive light. So, they announced they were doing the races, and they were going to only give alt art to top 10 of each ladder, and then normal demis to top 30. And I was saying, could we go back to the old system where we have all art for the top of each ascendancy, and then top 5, top 10, whatever, they can then get their demis. Well, what they're going to be doing is for PC, they're going to give all art demis to top 3 of each ascendancy class. This gives real extra incentive. For the main people going for like the top overall on ladder, this isn't that big. But it's actually quite nice in the sense that a lot of times you have group setups where if you do multi-group pushes, some people have to give up their alt art. So, for example, in Mayhem, when we were doing the Oz, EU, and NA, trying to get everyone into the top 10, we had some ascendancy overlap, so people had to like give up their ascendancies. So, for example, I was rank 7, rank 8, I can't remember overall, but I was the second Sabo. So even though as a group we got our goal of getting, people from Aussie, NA, and EU all in the top 10, I had to give up my alt art. But with this system, this is also very relevant when it comes to having like multiple of the same kind of supports, etc. But just for like the average person just doing the solo racing, it makes it much more incentivized to race, because you're kind of like, well, I've got a couple of demis before, but, who really cares? But going for a rank 3, you can be like, I could get rank 3 Hierophant or whatever. That's really good. This will also be especially nice for the SSF players, and they've also confirmed they will be doing a standard SSF. So everything in conjunction with that is huge. And then ranks 4 to 10 will receive a regular demis. Absolutely amazing, as far as I'm concerned. And then for the Xbox players, because it's a much smaller player base, it's going to be alt art to the top 2 of each ascendancy, and then ranks 3 to 5 will receive a regular demis, which is fair enough, much smaller player base, whatever. But that's not it. There's actually one more amazing change. For me personally, this might be bad for some people, but for me this is absolutely huge. They're also going to be pushing the event back to start on Saturday the 5th of May, New Zealand time. So for me that would be, the Friday. Now, this 1 day difference is really big for me personally, because I had a trip booked from the 3rd to the 6th. So when I first saw the initial Flashback reveal, I was disappointed on so many levels. So one, I was like kind of bummed out that it was starting on the 4th, so it'd be starting just after I left. And then the reward prize was screwed up, so I was like, no, it was like, oh god, spiraling depression. But now with this change, it's like, hang on. I could compete, like, even with the original start, this means I could now compete in SSF for an all-art demi, definitely for just a normal demi, no problem whatsoever. But then this change makes it even better for me, so this is, like, absolutely huge. And also from that, since people keep asking me, like, what are you going to do plan-wise? I just recently spoke to Kane a little bit. Kane is going to be just playing until he dies. He says he's not going super try-hard. And since I am going to be missing some of the first days, I'm not going to try and get into like a super try-hard like streamer trade league group. So what I'm going to do is I will be playing SSF Hardcore, I'm pretty sure. You could maybe go SSF Standard. I think that might be like the least competitive thing. So if you really cared about arts, you maybe go there. But anyway, I'm like 99% going to go SSF Hardcore. And the thing which is really nice about this setup now is the event will start the day before I get back. Now, I'll be pretty exhausted from the trip, so I probably won't realistically start racing till the 7th or very late on the 6th. But what this means is that I'll be able to come home, scout out the ladder, see where the main competition is, kind of see what's being underplayed, see if, you end up in a situation where, I don't know, Ventura plays Raider, a Megalol, and then no one else wants to touch raid it, but then he rips and then goes on to a different ascendancy. That happens quite a lot sometimes, where like if there's one like Big Daddy Racer on one ascendancy, no one else plays it, but then they die and then they swap on something else later. So starting just like a few days late, I will be at a pretty big disadvantage, but I will have the advantage of hindsight, and I'll be able to scout out the ascendancies a little bit more. So that is pretty Pogachus. Now, considering health and stuff, I'm probably not going to be going for rank 1 of a class. I'll be very happy with rank 5 of a class, and I will try and get the rank 3 alt art. So yeah, we'll see how big the competition is. If the competition doesn't seem that crazy, I might go for the rank 1. But my goal will be getting a rank 3 alt art, SSF hardcore, demi, and then getting otherwise a pleb tier rank 5. So that also means that I'm going to have to do some practicing, because I haven't done much practicing, and by that I haven't done any practice at all this league. Builds that I'm kind of leaning towards, I can't really say what I'll be playing without knowing what the ascendancy options are, but things that I've particularly enjoyed and I enjoy in SSF environments, it has to be a build which has very easy progression. So what I mean by that is it can't be a build reliant on anything in particular. 1, just for league start, you shouldn't be reliant on things, and 2, in SSF, you definitely can't be reliant on things. And also, it can't be a build which needs its Uber Lab to work. So, for example, Slayer. Slayer is still a pretty good ascendancy. The problem with Slayer is it feels terrible without Uber Lab. Same with like Scion. So I'm basically not going to be playing Slayer or Scion. And also, on that note, Slayer is probably going to be a pretty free win in SSF, because people know how notoriously gimped it is without the Uber Lab. The reason why you want to kind of avoid Uber Lab focused ascendancies in SSF, and also kind of in Trade League, to be honest, is not only does it make your character specifically a lot weaker in the early leveling, based on trial RNG, which is a very big factor in SSF, that puts you at a major disadvantage. And there's one thing if it's like your build is just a little bit weaker, and there's other thing like your build just straight up doesn't work. Also, another thing to keep in mind during the Turmoil and Mayhem events, most people weren't doing Uber Lab. Obviously, some people did fully ascend, but the groups I was playing with in Turmoil, and I was rank 1 occultist for most of it, died and finished like top 5, we didn't bother doing Uber Lab in that. And I'm like 99.9% sure I didn't bother doing Uber Lab on my rank 2 Saboteur and Mayhem, which was again a top 10 finish. Nearly everyone I played with didn't bother doing it. It's just like, why risk doing it in hardcore? You have to faff around with trials. The trials themselves can be pretty rippy, especially in a group environment. I actually had a couple of rips of trials. Baz, our support, if I remember correctly, died to one. Maybe I did do it actually, but I remember our support Baz dying to a trial, like day 4 or something. But yeah, so avoid certain ascendancies, but builds that I'll most likely be leaning towards. Stuff which has very solid single target, and adequate map clear. I've had a lot of fun recently on stream messing around with Cremation. Now, I did manage to actually rip my Cremation character off stream on Elder. I messed up the 3-phase explosion. I stepped out of the safe zone and got a clean one-shot, so that was entirely my fail. But I think I might maybe go for a similar kind of build, doing something like Frostbolt or Spark for clear, then Cremation single target. The good old GC mines into KB mines, and there are so many options for mines. Scion mines is pretty good, doesn't really need the Uber Lab. That could maybe be a solid option for SSF. Sab, obviously. Deadeye does work because Tailwind does give you mine laying speed, but Deadeye is going to be a pretty competitive ascendancy. Yeah, you can kind of do anything as mines. A few totemy kind of style builds. You can go higher, you can go chieftain. Basically, something which just works right off the bat. You also have the option of Occultist. Occultist is always very strong, and with Occultist in SSF, it's basically competing with Isla, and that's kind of that. You'll never win the rank 1, but that might actually be not an easy, but that might be like a not that difficult top 5 to top 10, going back to my previous point, if you go for an ascendancy where it's like, you know there's a very scary racer who's owning that ascendancy, that's going to push other racers from wanting to play it, if they're going for the rank 1. But if you're going for the rank 2 or the rank 3, and all you care about is the alt art, then that's kind of fine. You know, it's like in the situation that Havoc regularly plays Deadeye, or at least used to in the past. And if Havoc was playing Deadeye, no one else would play Deadeye because they don't want to compete with Havoc. Well, if you're only going for a top 5 finish, go Deadeye. So yeah, but anyway, that was with the alt system. I'm Tarke. I'm very, very happy. Thank you for listening, GGG. Thank you, community, for banding together. And it's nice to be able to say positive things about the the PoE community. It's nice to be able to say positive things about the PoE community, especially with a certain bit of drama that's been going on recently. Monka terms of service, by the way. But yes, I'm tired, cat. I need to sleep. And very quick final Bubs update. Bubs was in my room today. That's progress. We have a new cat. She's very timid. And we had cuddles in bed earlier. That feels amazing, man. She's kind of gotten a free reign of the house now. She's playing around my feet. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. I'm going to go to sleep. That volume, though. Whew. 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 Bye-bye.